Curious about what the suburbs of Panama City, Panama look like? Are you wondering if this is a neighborhood that you should consider moving to? Do you want to know what the housing market is like in Howard? Well, in this video, we're taking you on a driving tour with my friend Mike. He's going to give us some history about the neighborhood, some pros and cons, and more. Oh, and for those of you that served here in the military, there's an interesting treat for you at the end. Tee!
And so these are the old neighborhoods that are still kind of relics of the past.
Welcome to Howard, Panama.
Here on the left, we're coming up to the old Howard neighborhood. So this was formerly the Howard Air Force Base. It was built in the 1940s, and the neighborhoods on the left here, we have Howard Villas and Howard Residential, which we're going to go and check out right now. It's not considered Panama Pacifico, but it's interesting because this is what all of Panama Pacifico looked like at one time. The homes where all the soldiers lived, the barracks. And this neighborhood, which is now a gated community, was where most of like the higher ranking military officers lived. Single family homes, a lot of duplexes. But it's a nice neighborhood. It's old. You can tell it's old. Like they're planning on repaving this road, and once that happens, I mean, it's going to make a huge difference. But the values of the homes here have gone up quite a bit just because of Panama Pacifico, because of the development there. It's driving up values here. So a lot of people are looking here to buy. A lot of people that own here are now remodeling because they realize, hey, I can get a good return on the investment that I made years ago when you really didn't have to pay much for a house. But it's got the central park. A lot of the homes on the left, you can tell, like some are older. There's some big homes on the left. They're not all old. They're not all from back in the 40s and 50s when a lot of them were built. Some of them were just people had bought raw land in here and built within the last 10-20 years. They got the old palm trees, so it kind of reminds me of California. Like you go down the street, you have palm trees on each side.
Feels like Florida too.
Yeah, it's got that California, Florida feel.
So this was Howard.
This is still Howard.
This is still Howard.
Yeah, this is in the name of this neighborhood is Howard Residential.
Okay.
So it's the gated community. There's another one called Howard Villas, which is not gated. But this one is, this is one of the reverted areas. It's like Clayton and Albrook. And when the Americans left, it just was an open, anyone could buy it. So a lot of Panamanians came in and bought houses and land. Americans stayed, so a lot of Americans that didn't go back stayed here and bought a lot of the property in here.
What do you think are the pros and cons of this area or this complex?
Definitely a pro is the space that you get. So if you notice, these homes have a lot of space, like big yards, and it's quiet. There's also you can see the police officers here on their bikes. There's a lot of security here. This is one of the safest neighborhoods in Panama. There's always a high police presence here, and since it's gated, it's just safe. It's rarely do you hear any kind of crime happening in here or Panama Pacifico, so that's definitely a pro. Cons, I mean, it's not. You got the road. The roads are a little bumpy, not so nice. And this is the local supermarket. It's a Riba Smith Select. It's a really nice supermarket. It's a typical Riba Smith, high quality. A little bit more expensive than other supermarkets in Panama, but you tend to get good quality goods and a lot of the brands that you'll find in the United States. This is a Novi to the right. So Novi is household goods. It's kind of like a
Home Depot.
Maybe like a Home Depot. You can find just about everything. And it's nice to have here, especially if you're building or, you know, remodeling your home. You can really find everything that you need. Where they have Entrepanes, the bakery. On the left is Power Club. So Power Club is a membership gym. It's a chain, the biggest chain, I'm pretty sure the biggest chain of gyms in town. They've got an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So if you live here, you get your membership there and you can go work out. It's a nice gym, great option to have. To the right is Natura Salon. Get your nails done, haircut. This is Banismo, which is one of the bigger banks in Panama. And of course, for all the pet owners that live in the area, there are many. We have Paws, which is a veterinarian clinic. So it's really nice to have in the area because if anything happens to your pet, you've got a vet nearby, which is key. And then, of course, American Pets, which is pet supplies. Look at this. This is a duplex, and each unit has a pool. So that's a really cool spot there. Another pro of living in Howard Residential is that, you know, if you own a house here, the values can tend to follow home values in Panama Pacifico. So it's, you know, benefiting from that. So you could have bought here at one point years ago, and now your house is worth that. And the cons of living here, I mean, there aren't that many that I can think of, to be honest, but certain times of year you get a lot of mosquitoes. They're getting better at fumigating, so it's not as bad as it used to be. We're located near mangrove areas, mangrove swamps and marshes, so it's just part of life here. You know, you just deal with it because the mosquitoes are here. There's nothing that we can do about it. But as long as, you know, they fumigate and you control them, and you don't let water pool up, then it's not a big problem.
Do people tend to hold on to properties here, or do you find that a lot are for sale?
I find that people tend to hold properties here.
Okay.
You don't see too many for sale. Most are owned, so not many houses here are actually even rented out. Mm-hmm. Most of the owners live there. We have a lot of wildlife here. Gatosolos, ñeques, which are related to like capybaras, monkeys, sloths, see it all.
That's cool.
You can see these houses. That's actually a big duplex. And then the house to the right, that's a single family home. That's the biggest home. And all of these houses back up to a lot of land, so they've got really big backyards. So for people that are looking for a neighborhood, like a suburban neighborhood outside of the city, this is a great option because you can get a home, you're in a quiet neighborhood, gated, so it's safe, and you can get a lot of land. A lot of people are looking for that, like they grew up in a home with a big yard and give back where they came from, and they're not necessarily looking to be in the city. They want to have something similar here, and this is one of the good options for that. Vecino vigilantes. The neighbors are very vigilant, watching out for any suspicious activity.
Like a woman driving around recording it.
Well, you know, we're testing the Vecino vigilantes. So far, we have gone undetected.
What would you think, and I know it's hard to answer this because of the different sizes and the lots, but the average home price might be in here?
So there are homes for a 3-bedroom here. The average is around $300,000 to $400,000, depending on the condition. But it's hard to find something in here for less than $300,000. And some of the nicer homes that have been fully remodeled are around $500,000. So I would say if you're looking for a 2 to 3 bedroom home, you'd be looking at around $300,000, and that can vary depending on the condition. And so these are the old neighborhoods that are still kind of relics of the past. It's really like a ghost town. So this is where all of the soldiers lived at one point. And at some point, they're going to tear all of this down. But for now, you can drive through here, and it's really just such a throwback to the past. So a lot of people that are stationed here come back here just for the experience of seeing all of this, because this used to be a thriving military base, and it's just the fact that it's almost eerie. And so these streets are, this is yet to be developed, but you can still drive through here, which is really cool.
So who owns this? Like the government?
Yeah, the government. This is owned currently by the government. So Panama, the London Regional developer, will eventually buy all of this and tear all of these buildings down and build new developments. Panama Pacifico itself is a 40-year concession. They're about 15 years in, so they've got time to do a lot of different development. But
this is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. You don't even most people don't even know that even people that live here don't know this exists. But it's sprawling. But check this out. So this is the old hospital. So there was a full hospital that the Americans built, and to this day it has been abandoned. It had all the facilities, everything from urgent care, specialists, everything that you need in the hospital is all here. And it has been like this since the Americans left. Obviously, you can tell that it's been neglected, broken windows, graffiti, but it's such just a ghost town. You look at this and you're like, you can imagine what this once was. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with all of this. It's just a lot of space, and to tear all this, it's a big job to even demolish all of this. And that was one of the things with the developer. Is part of it is, okay, there's a lot of land, but the cost of leveling all of this is pretty substantial. But that's the old Howard Hospital right there. And, it might be a good location when they're ready to build a hospital here. They might actually establish it up here. The U.S., it wasn't at that point. They basically said, we're leaving, it's yours. You can do what you want. So there was no plan for them to maintain it in any way. And it was, the Panamanian government took possession of everything. And, it was up to them to figure out what to do. And this deal with London Regional was one of the first substantial kind of deals that they did for the old U.S. land, where they were like, okay, we have all this land, it's all developed on, there's opportunity here. It's just a matter of finding a developer that could figure out how to do it. Look at this tree straight ahead. It's an old tree right there. And they cut it for those electric wires. Taxi's lost up here.